All right, Cynthia, you asked how to do the dry brushing technique, so I wanted to show you. Here's my sample that I bring to parties. Again, I didn't do this until about a year in. I made some little sample boards to show some different painting techniques. So here is my sample board where I show what dry brushing looks like. And then here's how I demonstrate how to do it. You just take a little bit of paint, you put your brush, a new clean dry brush in, you just dip it into a little bit of paint, and then you pretty much take all the paint back off the brush. So think the dry brush technique, think about your paintbrush being mostly dry and most of the paint off of it. And then let's say this is a long board. I grab my brush and I bring it to the edge of the board and I just drag it in from the edge. And I always tell people, like, you can always add more later. It's always best to have very little paint on your brush to start, but that actually turned out pretty well. So, and then from the other side, I just do the same thing. Looks like I need a little more paint. So I do the same thing, I drag it, or you can flip it if you feel most comfortable pulling in the one direction. Okay, now when I do the top and bottom of a board for dry brushing, I keep everything going with the grain of the wood. So I'll do the top and the bottom of the board like that. Sometimes a board looks really cool if you actually paint the edge, like if I were to paint the edge black and then dry brush this, it kind of creates a frame for the sign. But absolutely, that's not necessary. A lot of times people will paint the board edges and top one color, and then they'll add a little bit of dry brushing around the edge like this. Now, another thing you can do, sometimes people like to pull in the paint on the top and the bottom as well as from the sides. I prefer it like this. Now, the other thing you can do is add some paint to the background by dry brushing as well. That's pretty light, but it gives you an idea. You want to be careful when you do this that you don't get a big glop of paint by hitting your brush too hard. Okay, so that is kind of what this sample is right here. Now, I then show people you can dry brush the background of your board like this, or you can turn your brush this way and add some more defined marks. So that's dry brushing. I hope that's helpful. Whoops. And you can do it with whatever colors you want, but there you go. I hope that helps.